What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. We've got Peter by my side, Marco Messina, Antonio.
And I got Mike by my side.
And Mike.
This is Anto's retirement party, by the way.
Out of Peter's stomach today. Mike, thank you for joining us. Guys, we have so much to talk about. Tudor was sacked from Juventus. I'm sure we're going to get into that right away. I want to ask you guys, how many teams are in the Scudetto race? Because if you ask me, I think there are 4 teams that we can make a realistic argument if they could win the Serie A title. And then Kevin De Bruyne, unfortunately, injured. He's going to be out for about 3 to 4 months. But maybe there's a little silver line. Sounds bad to say, but maybe there's something to look forward to for the Napoli fans despite that injury. Shall we start with Igor Tudor? Shall we rip the Band-Aid off? Sacked, the earliest sacking Juventus have made. After 8 matches, they're the first team to sack a coach, something that's only happened 10 times in Juventus' 128 years. They've now done 3 in the last year and a half, just to show you the state of the club. We could break it down, everybody. I want to get all of your reactions. Why don't you go first, Anto, because you were right in the group chat right away.
I got to tell you something.
He knew before Tudor knew.
It's not all his fault. Number one, we know that the fish, when it's starting to smell or stink, is starting from the head. So who's on top of that? You see, there is no more Agnelli. There is no more Nedved. The project is not there. You see personaggi in Italian means material that they have nothing to do with soccer. I see this Ferreira, what's his name? The direttore sportivo. I mean, did he ever play soccer, this guy?
Hold on. He's not direttore sportivo. They're still looking. Comolli was brought in. He has Modesto as the sporting director, but they're still looking for
modestamente a parte, Marco. Modestly.
Your point remains.
But listen to me.
The
one
people
more thing.
in charge.
Juventus not only has changed the coach 3 times in the last couple of years, within months, I would say 5-6 months, he has changed direttore sportivo. They have to change management. They've been doing
4 CEOs, I believe.
Yeah, right. They've been going through this huge change, but the change that been made without the real optic of getting the teams better. I mean, there is a lot of good intention during those moves, but then you can see that the people do not really understand soccer and what's behind soccer. Yeah. You just do not need a name and a resume done because I was in France, or I was in Switzerland, or I was here. Do you have the passion? What is your passion? What is your DNA? There is all of this personnel that I see in Juventus right now, they do not have the DNA. Without DNA, you cannot really win anything. The passion has to be there. You wear the Juventus jersey. That's very hot.
And that's coming from a Milan fan who could even see from far away that it's not the same Juventus of the past.
It's not.
So I love that you started on this side to talk about the upper management, because I agree. We could get to Tudor after, but to just talk about the management. Peter, you focus a lot on, in your work as an agent, you know a lot about sporting directors. You know a lot about the front office more than we do. What have you seen? And first of all, I think you do, but you agree that it really is from above that Juventus has been broken for some time.
Yeah, no, the issue stems from 2 years ago. So that's the thing. Right now, you're looking at Comolli, who is bringing a whole different methodology of recruitment and how to go after players. He comes from a Redbird group, which is Toulouse in France, where he used analytics and data to be able to identify players. I think for the most part, we can't really see a lot of his hands on this project, more so because he's been trying to patch up the work left from him from Giuntoli, right? So it was 2 years where Giuntoli had free range. At first it was, he doesn't have his head coach because Allegri was still there. And then when he had full power, he made the wrong decision with Thiago Motta ultimately, and then the player selection was poor as well as expensive.
120 million spent on a midfield, and it's probably one of the worst midfields that I see in Serie A.
Correct. And you still see a lot of, regurgitated players, right? Kostic, Rugani. Like, these are guys that didn't make the cut, and now all of a sudden we're trying to see if they can still fit into a project. And there's nothing wrong with those players. It's more so they're not Juventus players. and you still see Coop Miners trying to be forced to work, and it's like trying to put, a puzzle piece in, and it doesn't match. No matter how you do it, it's not gonna go.
It's from a different puzzle.
Exactly. So it's just a lot of that trying to make up for what was lost. I mean, pretty much every player within the last couple of years, aside from I don't know, maybe Thuram, I would say Bremer, but Bremer's also been injured often. That he doesn't have the right footing within this team. Like a lot of these decisions or players that have been selected have been poor. And then ultimately, let's not forget, Tudor. I'm surprised you didn't use the pun that he was shown the door. He was never the head coach of the future. Let's be very, very frank here. They didn't want him.
It was picked
they
up
were
by
looking
the
for somebody else.
Well,
they picked him up at the end to just figure out how to.
He was the only thing that was there, and he was a cheap option. They wanted Conte and Gasperini, and they both rejected them.
Yeah, it seemed like it worked. You had Conte and Gasperini reject you. Before that, you had they were saying Guardiola. I don't know how true it was, but Guardiola was supposed to come
a long ways.
All these guys were supposed to come.
Zidane
and Zidane. I don't know if because this guy hasn't gone anywhere else. But all these other coaches, they didn't want to come to Juve. And that's a big issue. And one last thing I would say is you have Del Piero, who's been not begging, maybe it's the wrong word, but he's been wanting to have a role in this Juventus side, and it's been years that they haven't given him the chance to be there.
Based on what are you saying that Del Piero? It's known that this is that Del Piero wants to get into the project.
It's been said. I think there's been a few remarks on his behalf saying like when they're ready or when there's an opportunity, I'm more than happy to come back. But I've never seen anything linking to him to them. And then let's also not forget Chiellini, who came back to this Juventus team and has a role in Juventus, was not part of the CDA, was not part of the board. So very interesting because I think Chiellini has a future as a direttore, but more importantly, he's the guy that led that Juventus team for 9 years, won the Euro Cup, is a legend of Juventus, and surprisingly was kind of left out of the board membership. So just things that make you question, and it's just all around looks bad. And
it's not the Juventus that we know.
No, it's going to take time. But the only unfortunate thing is every year it's always the same record. Until they find the coach that they want, it's always going to be like, oh, we got to try to piece things together.
They're really reminding me of Manchester United in the last years. I don't recognize Juventus. I don't. And I love that. I love that all of us have started on this foot because it drives me crazy when I see people looking to, oh my, this coach is going to save us. No, this coach is going to save. No, this guy. That's exactly what happened at Manchester United, where they keep thinking that one thing is going to do it, where the truth is there's a lack of culture at the club, the lack of understanding of what it means. We talk about the record that Juventus has. They have not won a game since September 13th. They didn't score a goal since October 1st. And when I hear some comment, oh, okay, yeah, but we got a tie. Oh, we lost respectfully. But are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Mike, I think we rightfully started. Like I said, I wanted us to take this side and just say, Tudor, I think it's understandable that he has to go because the team was not reacting to him. The game against Lazio, the players are in disarray. The positions that he's put guys in, Jonathan David, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make any sense. But we all can agree at this point that when you don't win for 8 games at a club like Juventus and you just lose against Lazio, you have to let go of the coach.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. What I am opposed to was how this was handled in the longer run. Because whatever we're talking about, Tudor getting sacked, but what I'm thinking about is when Mota got sacked. Because when I was like, Mota would be someone that would have changed the kind of philosophy Juventus was. But when you get a coach like that, you got to give him adequate time. And when they sacked him, people were saying kind of the same thing. Not the same thing, blah, blah. And they brought in Tudor to be the caretaker and see what's going to happen. Then they're doing this. They're doing the same exact thing. And not to say I have anything against Tudor. I think he's a fine coach, whatever. But he's not someone that would really change the philosophy of Juventus.
He's never stayed it anywhere very long.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. He would be one that have short stints and give them off on like a little jumping spree or whatever the case was. But I feel like Juventus are having more of an identity crisis more than anything. And what they need to do now is what we've been saying, is rebuild, but actually rebuild. Not just get someone, okay, we're going to do this. And then 6 months later, things don't go work out, and then kick them out. You got to stick to the plan, or else if they don't, like Marco, you mentioned, it could turn into a thing like Manchester United, how it's going to be in, you're going to see 2-3 coaches a season, and it's going to be a continuous thing till hopefully something strikes and something picks up. But this is not a sustainable way to run a football club.
Mike picked up a very good point. Let me just finish up what he was just trying to say. We need somebody to just take over the project, right, Mike? But in the AC Milan, we had Berlusconi. He used to go down to the locker room and said, "Hey, Sacchi is the coach. Whether you like it or not, whatever he says, that goes."
That doesn't exist at Juventus.
That's not. I said, where is this person?
That's why Agnelli. People
there's
talk
no
bad about
leadership.
Agnelli. You could like him, you could not like him, but at least you knew that Agnelli, the heart was there, the project was there. Elkan has control. You know, it's the same family, of course, but Elkan has control. You could look at some of the other things that Elkan has control of that have not been great, but I don't feel Juventus.
Marco,
I don't feel
when
Juventus.
There's no leadership.
I don't feel
Mike, when the camera used to go on Agnelli and Nedved, when the Juventus scored and things like that, you see them jumping and just embracing each other and all the stuff. Right now, you see these guys here, Ferrero, you see this other. I mean, they're sitting down over there, one with his wife. I mean,
They're
nice
business
people,
guys. They're business
excellent
guys.
But
Not too
they
fuzzy.
don't have the. You need fire over there, Mike.
Or you need to hire it,
Right.
or you need to get competent guys that hire it.
Marco, we are now talking about a lot of money. You're paying Tudor already for a lot of money. They signed Tudor to the 2027, right?
25 million they're paying in coaches right now with Thiago Motta.
You sacked Tudor
25
right now.
million.
You sacked Tudor. It's another 20. How many millions?
After you just gave him an extension.
Motta,
They just gave him the extension.
Motta has been sacked and he's been sacked and he's been making a lot of money.
On the couch, yeah.
Right, now this guy here, Tudor, sacked again, and he's been making this money. Now you're going to be hiring somebody else, you're going to be paying. How the hell are you trying to save money by just make the mercato, sell this? We have too many extra pieces that we needed to just, clean up the locker rooms and all the stuff. And then you end up spending a lot of money for the coaching, and you keep making those bad decisions. Somebody has to be there with a calculator and say, "Hey, what are we doing here? Let's spend the money on the player that we need. The coaching, it's up to a point, but Juventus, Torino, it's not easy. Like a San Siro, or like you go to Torino, and you're wearing the jersey of Juventus. There's a lot of history over there. That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of people that expected to produce immediately. Mike, what you said before, I partially agree. There is no long-term project. In Juventus, you have to be ready to win. So is AC Milan, so is Inter. Those are the three teams. And Napoli right now is getting that kind of a DNA.
So
you have to be ready to just take the game on your hands and win right there. There is no, sorry, we need 2 years. Spalletti needs 3 years. No. You come ready to do damage and to win. Otherwise, you don't belong over there.
So
do not try to put a Band-Aid. Band-Aid didn't work for Juventus.
Let's talk about who they're going to have to go for, obviously, because they've put in the next-gen coach because they have a game in 24 hours, probably by the time you're watching this podcast, against Udinese. The three names that are being linked, and again, the perfect preface of what Antonio said, there's not one thing that's going to solve everything. There's no miracle coach that's going to come in and solve the issues. The name is Luciano Spalletti. According to Di Marzio, he's number one. Roberto Mancini and Raffaele Palladino. Again, I think the best option is Palladino until June because he will accept a short-term contract. He did very well at Monza. He did very well at Fiorentina. He was adaptable. I know those are different places. There's different expectations. But at least he was willing to change his formation. At least he shored the team up defensively. He adapted to the players that he had. I'll never forget when he took over Monza. Stroppo was the coach of Monza before. They were playing Juventus. And Galliani told him, hey, maybe let's keep Stroppo one more game so your first match doesn't have to be against Juventus. And we'll give you an easier path. And you know what Palladino told him? He goes, no, I want the game against Juventus. Monza beat Juventus. Monza from Serie B, who's now back in Serie B. That's the attitude and the character he has. Does that mean, again, that he's going to come in and he's going to be a success? No. But I would wait. I would get Palladino, see what he does until June, and then you reassess. If you commit to Spalletti or if you commit to Mancini, who, not to say that they're bad coaches, they've achieved a lot. You can make arguments for them. But to commit to a long-term project right now, where you didn't want them a couple of months ago, you had the option to choose them in August. Before that, in June, they were available. You don't want them. Now you're gonna. I don't know. To me, that's the question I would have.
Yeah, I agree with Palladino. By the way,
Yeah,
Agree.
No. Listen. Ultimately, it's Juventus, the management brass to say, if we go after Spalletti or Mancini, then that means we're going for another year and a half of them.
At
Why?
least.
At least.
What do you mean? Why are you saying that?
Well, because you're gonna give them. First off, they won't sign.
They're gonna
for
demand.
They will not sign a contract until June.
for just 6 months or whatever is remaining. They're not going to sign that contract. So already you have to do the calculation that you're going to have another coach on the books, and you're going to have to give them the following year to work. So you have to consider that and say, okay, can these guys still be able to win? I think they both can. Are they going to give you any fresh ideas? Probably not. What I would say is, when it comes to Juventus, they say it. The slogan is the only thing that matters is winning, and those are Mancini especially is a coach that's just gonna get over there and try to just win 1-0, figure out a way to score, and take the game like that. But they haven't been around for a while. Mancini was in Saudi Arabia. To be honest, it's not. He took the money route instead of
very poor.
Staying with it.
What do you think he's going to do if he goes to Juventus?
Yeah,
He's going to
they're
take the
very
money
good.
around.
Hasn't Spalletti said a million times, I'd rather lose playing good than... But philosophy-wise, him and Sarri are more aligned.
Get out.
So my thing is with Spalletti with Juventus, he doesn't, I think, match with what the Juventus ideology is, because also in his press conferences, he's always been one to say something or say something extra that doesn't always resonate
go with the
well
DNA
with
of the Juventus.
And he's not right now not a favorable coach, right? After what happened with Italy, so
Locatelli
you're dealing with
and him have some
you have
beef.
some issues there, and that's
Di
something
Lorenzo
to
to
look at. With Palladino,
There's enough suffering
He's
there.
making the captain of
Yeah.
Juve.
with Palladino, he's a young coach. He'll probably take the job for the few months that's left, and then you see what's what. But this is a conversation that they really have to just put their head down, make Champions League, and really start from
Pete,
scratch.
How many times have we said that?
Peter just said it right now. He said it right. Anybody that comes to Juventus right now with the minimum expectation to bring the team to Champions League, if you have lesser expectation than that, don't even think about it. Stay where you are. Stay sitting on the couch. Keep sipping what do you call Amaro or Prosecco, and stay where you are. In Juventus, you have to come ready to take the campionato. Is not that far.
No,
They need the money, Anto. They have to qualify for the
Relax.
Champions
Palladino
League.
is the cheapest option. He wore the Juventus jersey. He has been proven to be a very good coach. He was not fired. He took himself out of the equation from Florence, because the guy, he means well, and he has
didn't
the
believe in the
fire.
project.
What?
He didn't believe in the project, and he's been proven right. Look what
Okay.
Fiorentina are.
And Palladino is capable to take something that is all scrambled up and assemble in a way that it becomes a piece that is recognizable right now.
I like that. I agree.
So Juventus does not need names of what they have done in the past, like Mancini and Spalletti. Those two guys are the worst. And the fact that they abandoned their previous project for the money. Show me the money.
Well, not
One
Spalletti.
left. Spalletti, sort of,
No, he
almost.
didn't. He got fired.
So
he didn't want that.
anyway, none of those two guys. To me, Palladino, I will take Klopp if he's available. Klopp would be excellent.
Where did I come from?
Would you like a Ferrari too? If we have one.
Well,
He's still available.
Mike, do you disagree, or you like Palladino?
No,
if you like Palladino, then we move on.
He's the only one that would
Okay.
actually bring some fresh ideas. The other guys are just there for the paycheck at this
So,
point.
Juventus, it's now 8 games, and once again, I don't think any of us would make an argument for them to be in the Scudetto race. Just the game against Lazio. Let's give credit to Lazio, because I think Lazio did the opposite. Sarri did the opposite. Sarri has his ways. He wants to play a possession-based team. I think he's understood that he can't do that with this Lazio. He doesn't have the team to do so. And he said, okay, we're going to suffer. We're going to try to just impose our ways, especially in the second half where they sat back, try to get out on the wings to Zaccagni and he sucks it. I was very impressed with Lazio. I was impressed because they're a team that had so many injuries. They're a team that has this center midfielder, Basic, that was excluded from the roster for a year and a half. The guy was going to be sold. They couldn't sell him. Then he was not going to be there. They said, get out of here. He had to bring him in because there's injuries, and the guy scores the goal. So it's amazing what Sarri was able to do. I give him a lot of credit for getting this result against Juventus. Once again, nobody's scared of Juventus, but credit to Lazio. Mike, I want to go to you first.
By the way, did you guys see what Lotito did in the stands?
Who?
Lotito.
Lotito. Oh.
Is it Lotito?
You know what he means? You know what that means? Who is he?
They were singing against him. So when Lazio scored, he went, keep singing.
Oh.
I was dying.
Yeah, there's so many Serie A funny moments.
Oh, my
I swear.
God.
This weekend, Conte
story
versus
itself.
Lautaro.
Oh, I love
ate
that.
up all of that content.
Yo, we
That
bring that
content-
up. Save that for the next
Let's just go.
thing.
That was amazing.
Oh, I
Why do
love
people
that.
get mad at this? I'd love it.
That was like seasoning on top of it.
It's
No,
so
you know what
good.
that means?
Seasoning?
You're talking too much.
No,
Just
that's
keep
not
your
what I
mouth
mean.
shut.
Does not
Oh, yo,
mean
you're
that.
scared, right?
Yeah.
You're scared.
Yeah,
More
you're
than you're
scared.
scared.
That's
In
nice.
Italy,
That's nice.
when you do like that, it means keep your
But he
mouth
didn't do that.
shut.
He went
okay.
like this,
Yeah.
and then he went like this.
C'hai
And
paura.
then he went somewhere
You're
else
scared.
too.
Oh, boy.
That's like the
Honestly.
sticker when you hold up the underwear. That's what
But
it
you know
means.
what? But you know what? This guy Conte is so smart that he knew how to get inside their heads. He knew if he
Yeah,
would do
of
that,
course,
Inter started focusing on fighting Conte rather than fighting on the pitch.
What was the boxing match when he was a coach at
Well, so the story is Conte was fighting with Dumfries. This is the story. Conte was fighting with Dumfries. He was telling him, "Oh, you dove, get up." Then Lautaro got into the fight, and they have some bad blood because back in 2021, Conte subbed Lautaro off. Lautaro went to the bench saying something against Conte.
He was unhappy that he was subbed.
He was unhappy that he was subbed. He said something to Conte, and Conte responded, "You think you're phenomenal," and then he said, "Phenomenal del." and
Cuff. Oh.
You could fill in the blank. You could fill in the
Fenomeno
blank.
I like
Fenomeno
you're
del
gonna
stu.
you're gonna get a prize if you said it first.
Fenomeno dello stu.
Little stew.
Okay.
And
Deal.
the next day, Inter handled it very well, and they gave them both boxing gloves to box it out. But obviously, it came to light in this match. I was so impressed with Napoli. I was thoroughly impressed with the way that they were handling it. Would you agree? Because Kivu said it himself that they focused too much on Conte in that moment and not enough on the pitch.
I mean, yes, but also the subs that came in did not give anything to the Inter roster. Napoli had 3 shots. They scored 3 goals.
Nice goals.
You know, that's
Nice
the
goals,
reality. Inter, the second goal.
3 shots,
especially.
you mean the penalty too?
Yeah, the penalty as well. Inter, first off, it was a game of 2 halves, if we want to digest. So, Inter's first half, you had the post hit,
There
the
we
crossbar. Had a couple of chances. Lautaro 1v1, you got to score there. So, you missed those chances. Napoli, the penalty, I've seen, better penalties. That was not a penalty.
A little bit of an overreaction, though, from Italy. In Italy,
I mean,
everyone went crazy saying it's not a penalty.
The reason being is because De Lorenzo went to go look for the foul. So when you go look for the foul,
Yeah.
even if there's a slight touch or anything,
Yeah.
you're purposely trying to.
You think
fool the ref.
he's purposely
Yes,
trying to?
yes,
I don't buy that.
yes. He went to
Also,
put his-
I've
he
seen
puts
Dybala
it-
do that a million times.
Yeah,
I've seen
but-
Dybala do it a million times.
But not in the penalty area. If you go to
In
look
the
to
penalty
receive
area.
the ball, anyway, that was
No,
a light. I think it was a light penalty for me.
But
Light?
but this
And-
What do you mean, like?
overreaction.
What do you mean, like
It was-
course light or
yes,
something? One of
course
those
light.
things. Okay.
The reason being also, it was not the referee to
Milan.
decide
This
the
part
penalty.
is fair.
He waited
8
8
seconds.
seconds before getting called over, and that's an issue.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole
From the
where-
assistant
Where
referee.
even Marotta,
assistant
when he
referee.
came out to say it's the process in how you came to the conclusion of a penalty. So you didn't give the chance for the referee to make the
That
decision.
stink the high heaven.
I bet you if the
Stink.
referee didn't have the
That
assistant referee
stinks.
call him, VAR check probably wouldn't have even came in, or he would have came in and he would have evaluated for himself.
So I'll say I didn't think in live time. I said no, it's not a penalty. I thought it was soft. But then after, when you see there is contact, it's not like Di Lorenzo
Yeah.
dove.
No,
if you
there
watch the
was,
knee,
there
the left
was.
knee of Di Lorenzo
There
and the right
was.
knee of Mkhitaryan, there is contact. I agree that the process is messed up because the assistant referee calls it, and then the referee doesn't go to the monitor to check, and it's a subjective decision. And I think the process should be that the referee goes and checks, but not to have this there's a crazy uproar, as if there was a pure dive. It's not like there was no contact.
How
I
many
saw, but I've
seconds
seen
later,
this
the
given.
guy-
I think it's more so the
comes
8
back.
seconds that he
8
called.
seconds.
He used to let
That's
the game
true,
start,
yeah.
and then he
It
called.
was
Gets
weird.
called back for the
Listen,
penalty.
But is it that
Yeah,
much?
go
But
ahead,
but the
go
thing
ahead.
is, I'm just mentioning it because
Okay.
it was part of the
fair enough.
moviola, as we say. For me, also, Napoli Inter's penalty. It's unfortunate. It's a handball by what we see, but it's an unfortunate handball, and these are things that are getting called. That sucks, but that's the
Those are
reality.
always
of it.
penalties
But
these
my
days.
biggest thing is Inter, the defending of Inter, with especially the second goal, is just mind-boggling to see McTominay literally jog up, realize nobody's tracking him, and then start sprinting. And you have Çalhanoğlu just trotting along like a horse, and Bastoni, no one making the sprint to go cover that space. And even when McTominay receives the ball, he makes the wrong decision to go bring it out right.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, that's bad.
And Bastoni doesn't close him.
That's bad.
So by not closing him, he takes a shot. Even Sommer left, kind of in the middle, not really covering his angle.
Who
In the
expected
delay,
Not
that?
able
yeah,
to delay
yeah.
to
Who
jump.
expected that
And all of a
shot,
sudden, it's a beautiful goal. So my thing is that frustrates me. I think Napoli were not going to lose that game.
Yeah.
After taking the beating they took in PSV, they were not going to lose the game. I think they were prepared very well. Obviously, when you start winning, it's easier for the Conte team to sit back and absorb Inter's possession and be able to break on the counter. I thought Anguissa was phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah, great goal as
He
well.
He
Oh my
embarrassed.
God.
He embarrassed Acerbi and Bastoni. Yeah,
like
so
I
much
mean,
confidence.
Akanji was Akanji or Bastoni.
Yeah,
Acerbi
a lot of these guys were
Yeah.
not up to standards. And guess what? It's an open campionato, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to push for
One
it.
thing I wanted to say, Marco, excuse me, Mike, with a punctuality that is like a laser. Every time there is a situation like that, the next day you see it on the paper. Boom. After the fact, they keep saying, oh, it should have been done this way. The VAR should have just done this. And Rizzoli is still there just watching from the top like the eagle eyes, letting this whole garbage just taking place like there is. You expect every week 2 or 3 controversial decisions with the people on the top just looking down. They said
Referees are incompetent. We have incompetent
they
referees.
are grossly incompetent to say the very least. But the people on the top, the head of the referees, are more incompetent than the referees themselves because they don't do anything. They're not capable. They're not capable. So to go back to finish up what we are saying, P, I was very happy that the penalty was given for Napoli, even though I do not agree 100% that it was a penalty. You know how
Wait,
much
do you
I
think it
love
was a
Inter.
penalty? Yes or no?
For me, soft. A little
But it
soft.
is a penalty.
It's a penalty.
Okay.
That was a penalty.
Honestly, I agree with Anto.
So-
I agree. For me, it's a soft penalty. In lifetime, I said
soft,
no. Come on, keep going. But it's not that it's this controversy that he dove like some things I've read. But we talked about
There
the
was a
penalty.
good amount of
we agree.
contact.
I want to know about the
But,
game. I want to focus on the football.
But yeah, just quickly, I just wanted to say that I always thought that Conte maybe he wasn't very good in Europe, but now I'm starting to think that he just doesn't care about Europe. I think he was just growing up watching Serie A and never watched Champions League, and he was like, who cares about that? He's ready for the Serie A Sundays because that's all they ooze for. Even the players, I just want to see those locker room rituals, those big games, how he preps his team. Because it was a show from off the field to on the field to everything in between.
Did you see that clip? There's a clip going around from last year when they played Inter, and you do get the locker room because they filmed the documentary. It's not out anywhere, unfortunately, but you could see a couple clips. And the game against Inter last year, which was their best game when they did 1-1, Billing scored. By the way, I look back, Billing's only goal came against Inter the entire season. Conte said, the speech will give you goosebumps. I think I tweeted it too. He said, everyone will say that Inter is better than you. And maybe they are better than you, but not today. Not in your home. Not in front of these fans. Today, they're not going to be better than us. We're going to go out there and we're going to kick their
blood. And we're going to
spit blood and
spit
kick
blood.
their whatever. So that's I can imagine that was a similar speech.
Yeah, because just watching that, like that performance doesn't just happen when he puts a formation, puts the players out. There's venom in there. And when your coach is yelling at his former players over there, that gives you even more like passion and venom to go even like crazier, honestly.
I think also the game changed when De Bruyne left.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
what we saw was McTominay needs to play more central and needs
Mm-hmm.
to be closer to the goal. He creates the space. We cannot play. I think Conte was suffering or struggling rather to figure a way to play all these players, to have them all on the same field, and unfortunately, it just doesn't work.
So you're saying they're
So-
better without? You're saying
I
Napoli's
mean,
better without De Bruyne?
It's not so much they're better
They're
without De
different,
Bruyne.
they're
They
different.
cannot play at the same time in the formation that
Yeah.
Conte would want. So what you're gonna have to sacrifice one or the other. And you know what? To be quite honest, when you have Champions League, Serie A, and Coppa Italia, you should be able to rotate these guys. And I think Conte was just fixated on the fact that he wanted these guys to be on the same field at the same time. But it just wasn't working. You need to have the balance of a team, and you're taking away a McTominay who was your savior last year, that can find the back of the net, that's going to get those goals. So it's a different player by all means. And De Bruyne's quality, no one is going to
Yes.
deny
Replicate
that.
yeah.
But it's just very evident that you can't
He's
play with
older.
both of them on the
But
field.
Also, it would take. I totally agree with you. This is something that I said from the beginning that I thought. You guys know I love Conte. For me, Conte is my favorite coach. But I think he made a mistake with the way that he was managing De Bruyne, especially the way that he was forcing him to start in smaller games where I didn't think he was necessary because Napoli won the league, like we said. In these moments, I would have used him like a cherry on top of the cake. When you need him to come in and provide you something in Champions League and give you that experience, I want to put him in. But you don't need to change everything in my
Yeah, but
opinion.
the guy
You have
demands to
remember-
be on the
I was about
field.
to say, I'm sure De Bruyne,
Ah.
with the World Cup coming, he's not going to accept just 15, 20
But in
minutes
Champions,
or some
no, I'm
games.
not saying 50, 20 minutes, but you have to start him. What was the game against Cagliari or Genoa? And I said, oh my God, this guy just played in Champions League. Why do we have to start him again?
Yeah.
It's finding that balance. And I think also the other thing, is that it takes time.
Yeah.
It would take time for them. So there was going to be growing pains when you want to play them all together. That's not to say that they wouldn't have figured it out. That just means that it took time, just like it took time. McTominay, it was not the first day that he got to Napoli that all of a sudden he was understanding the movements. But you're absolutely right
was
that they
pretty
look
quick.
better when they started doing the 4-3-3 because Napoli's built to play a 4-3-3 because then McTominay could get the runs. Couple
No,
on this topic?
on Napoli.
Go.
I was saying with Conte's decision to put Neres also, it
Falso
opened
nueve?
up. Yeah, the falso nueve,
Was
but
genius.
he opened up, gave him the flexibility, and left Acerbi kind of marking
Yeah.
space.
He was
and
in the
not
spin
marking
cycle.
a person.
Right, right.
Acerbi
So
was going
he
around in
didn't-
circles.
If Acerbi had Luca in front of him, that's his.
That was his-
it
his target, and that's
yeah,
it.
no,
The
but I'm
reference
saying
point.
you're setting up the silver platter for him because that's where he's gonna make his feast.
Conte was
I gotta
spot
say
on.
something
I thought he
though,
was
Marco.
wrong, but he was spot on.
In all fairness, Pete.
But before,
Go
I just
ahead.
want to say like the different because Gasperini the week prior tried to do the same thing with Dybala. And
it
even
didn't
this
work out.
It didn't work out, but because Dybala is not the player that's going to make the runs into space, Neres is willing to do that. He is quicker.
Let me
So-
just say, in all fairness, up to when the game was 2-1, I think the game was pretty much open. Inter, it was into carpentry kind of stuff, just woodwork all over the place, traversa, palo here, there. I mean, it was all over. So unfortunately, they don't count. The fact that you hit a crossbar or the or
But they're
doesn't
not
count.
they're not mean enough. For me, Inter, it's the same thing. How many times did we say last year, Anto? They couldn't beat Milan. They couldn't beat Juventus. They did not beat Napoli last year, and now Napoli gets them in their worst moment. A million injuries for Napoli, coming off of the 3 losses in their previous 5 matches. But they miss that bite. They miss that spirit. And what you said
That
is
Conte
perfect.
had.
I was positive. I said there's no way that Napoli will lose this game. I thought they would win. I said they'll win. But I said for sure they are not going to lose because they give you that confidence that no matter what, they're going to have that attitude. And that's why there was a big debate between Bergomi and Del Piero. I don't know if you guys saw the clips going around where they're arguing who's the best team in Italy. And they use semantics. They say chi è più bravo, chi è più forte. Who's the strongest, who's the best. The way that I would see it is that Inter, on paper, you have the most quality players. You do have the most quality players in the league. But Napoli as a group, as a team, as a unit, they're willing to do more than what Inter has. And that's why Napoli, we keep saying Inter's the best team, but Napoli's won more than Inter in the last years. Napoli's won 2 Scudetti in the past 3 seasons. Inter, with the most quality players, has only won 1.
Yeah, but
just throwing it
that
out
also
there.
goes
That's
with
why
the
they got
manager.
that dogs in that.
But that's what there's the fine line between the managers. We can talk a lot of positives about Kivu, but he's not nowhere near as decorated and as experienced as Conte, and that's that's the little fine line that could bring you over the finish line.
In all honesty, you,
Just like with
I mean,
Inzaghi
from
and
week to
Conte.
week, we keep changing our opinion. I mean, Marco is the first one that was just Kivo. Kivo seems to be, he found the solution and all of that stuff.
But I don't think he was
Inter-
arguing about Kivu.
No,
He was
what I'm
talking about
saying
something
is,
different.
I see Inter
two
playing.
things can be
I know.
true.
Yeah.
I've been seeing Inter playing as a team finally again. But from week to week, you have to take the wins and the loss.
Yeah.
Because Napoli, he left everything on the field, and Inter, they were focusing more on the Lautaro and Conte arguments.
Inter doesn't want to be in the mud. Conte lives in the mud.
Right,
Conte will
so-
get in the mud and he'll win from experience because he's done it before.
Oh, we've done it before also in Champions League. Maybe not necessarily with a
Not
Kivu
in
with this
Serie A,
team. In Serie A, probably not. What I would argue is, I think Inter, sure, on paper, you can say is the best team within Italy for the past 4 years. That I can agree to. We did lack, but making a move in January for 2 consecutive years.
No, Pete, stop
where-
that
where you
nonsense.
had-
Stop.
Where we had to get a
stop.
striker.
I knew that was
It's
coming.
the reality.
BS.
We had to get a
BS.
Oh,
striker.
Conte played
So
with
hold
no
on,
striker.
hold
Play
on,
with Neres.
hold on.
Get
hold on.
alive,
Not the whole
Pete.
season. not
Get
the whole
alive,
season.
Pete.
Not the whole season.
You
Ashford, let me
always
finish.
find you're
Let
the
me
magician.
finish.
You
Let me
always have the
finish.
perfect
Let me
excuse ready to
finish.
go.
I'm saying
Give me a
that.
break.
I'm saying that because it's the reality. If we had Boni or Pio Esposito in these
Yeah.
past 3
You
years,
had him.
we would have had
You,
three
you
Scudetti.
had him on Saturday.
You almost
So
had
listen,
it, right?
So my point being, Inzaghi also managed multiple competitions. Okay, you make 2 Champions League final within the 4 years that he was at Inter.
Yeah, you called it not a success.
And it was not a success. I agree. It was not a success. But you're managing the reaching of a Champions League final. You also are going to lose out
So
on.
you
a
can't
Scudetto
win
race.
any head-to-head battles?
No, that's a
You
different
can't
story.
win
But that
any
was just last
head-to-head
year.
battles.
It's
Yeah.
been Inter won versus Milan for 3 years, I think. 6
Thanks to
straight,
Pioli.
stuff like that.
He's on
So-
fire.
Exactly. So we've
Pioli's
won
on
in the
fire,
past.
man.
It's
Saying
more
that
so
in
this
the
past year, and now with Kivu. Listen, the Juventus game was a fluke.
Another fluke.
Come on, Sommer. Come on, Sommer.
Every time.
Hey, you know it's a
Did
fluke.
you have a striker
because-
in that game?
Come on,
Mani di ricotta, hands of ricotta.
Listen, Sommer made 2 mistakes.
O
That
mozzarella.
I should save anyway. But my point being,
Burrata.
this
Burrata.
Napoli game.
What?
Hold on.
Burrata.
This
Burrata,
Napoli
yes.
game, where Inter fell,
Mozzarella.
was when you get rid of Çalhanoğlu and Barella in the midfield. We did not circulate. Zielinski came on. He gave nothing. Gave nothing to this team. So he needs to change his mentality. I think he was trying to
He needs a mental
use
coach.
this guy.
Pete, you need to
watch.
cut the mozzarella right in the middle.
Cut
You
the mozzarella.
always, you know the song "Cut the Mozzarella." You need to stop finding excuses. You lost. Take the loss.
I take the
like
loss.
a man.
I didn't say
and
that.
that's it.
I was bringing up the point.
I've been saying for the last 2 years that we needed an extra.
Yeah.
You give me a break. You have the top of the line. You have all of those
Anyway,
players
no,
that
we're
you
not gonna
have.
go there.
Taremi,
Let's-
Correa.
Yeah,
Top
give
of
me
the
a
line.
break.
Anto,
That was a
don't take
national
the
team
bait.
Top of the line
player.
from the bottom.
Don't take the bait. Anyway, I was very impressed with Napoli's approach to the match, Conte's approach to the match, even the fine details. And like we said, he got it spot on with Neres. I thought he would have been wrong, especially when Kevin De Bruyne comes out. I said, okay, now he's going to put Neres to the left and put Luka in. He still didn't. Very well prepared. And I think that this also shows, and it could get to the next topic, just how crazy Serie A is this year. We're on their day. It's the final. The teams are so good that it comes down to these last moments that could define where we are. And that leads me to Roma, because Roma is at the top of the table right now. And I think I was wrong about them. They're ahead of schedule. Not that I didn't think Gasperini would do well at Roma, but the way that they've done it so quickly, and one detail, which is on paper, on the numbers, they have the best defense in Serie A. They've conceded 3 goals in 8 games. And history has shown us in this league, in Serie A, if you have the best defense, you usually win the Campionato. Can they sustain it long term? I don't know. Is it going to hurt them that they have 2 strikers that nobody wants to score? They've got Dovbyk and Ferguson, who have 1 goal combined between the 2 of them. They have injuries. Gasperini didn't get everything he wanted in attack. But we have to say, this Roma will grind it out. They will struggle. They will fight. They could win 1-0, and they're not conceding goals. So I think we all have to have this conversation on they are in the Scudetto race.
No, they're not.
At least up to this point.
I would say so for
I mean,
now.
that's the first place, of course.
Yeah, I would say so for now. But to be honest, after all the years of moaning and crying about Roma, saying how they deserve better, this is very refreshing to see overall. I'm just scared, and I hope that not that I'm wrong, but I'm thinking about the future, saying like, is Gasperini gonna hit like reality soon? Is this just like a temporary thing, and then he's gonna hit like?
What
I
makes
don't know,
you think that?
I don't know. I'm scared just because they're doing so well.
You're not used to it?
I'm not used to Roma, honestly, doing this well and seeing them play amazing. And it's honestly really refreshing because I just feel like their tifosi have been through a lot in the recent years. And it's really nice. And I think they deserve a coach like Gasperini because I really think he's a top coach. We're talking about Gasperini going to top teams. And I'm just happy he stayed in Italy. And I think Roma, I don't think there's a better team than Roma to be, taken over with them.
When you said before that Juventus is in contention, do you actually mean that Juventus Roma can win the Campionato?
Like I said, I've been wrong.
I can say Champions League, yes. Champions League, yes. Now,
Champions League is the goal.
oh, okay. But
And
seriously,
Everything else is
I'm,
gravy.
I'm surprised. I'm just surprised that they got to this point and they looked as good. And I'm thinking to myself, if they could get to January and still be there and maybe get on loan a striker on loan, yeah, okay. But we have to see ahead.
Yeah.
They've already
We don't
proved me
know.
wrong,
Yeah.
and I think Mike said it perfectly. What a beautiful storyline it would be. And maybe this is the romantic in me wanting to believe. But if Roma could win a Scudetto, if Roma could challenge for Scudetto, we'd see scenes similar to like Napoli, where it's just they've waited for so long. They're one of the biggest fan bases in Italy that hasn't been able to achieve the success that the fans really deserve. They would lose their minds. We would see things in Italy that you never see. And it would also show how great Serie A has been in the last years, the fact that we have another team that could potentially win. So I think the romantic in me, the believer, wants that to happen for the fan base to see if they could get to that point. Gasperini's never done it. He's never won a Scudetto. They haven't done it since, 2001?
2000.
With Francesco Totti. So it would be beautiful.
it's going to be a dogfight.
We might see Pallotta in the fountain again.
I think listen, with how the Campionato is going, why couldn't Roma be there? Because that's the reality. You have an Inter team that, although look great at times, can also have some pretty sluggish performances, or on the individual level, a lack of concentration at times. So how can you be a guaranteed winner or a team that can run away with it? Time will tell. You have a Milan team who, with Allegri and you still have to see these new players, how they all gel together, but they're very much in the mix, right? And then Juventus with Tudor now sacked. There's a lot of confusion again. We'll be left to see who's going to come in and what they can do with this Juventus team. So, and Napoli with Conte, where there's injuries. He's playing multiple competitions. It's not the Napoli of last year. So there's a lot of changes this time around, where Gasperini, especially his biggest downfall is always that it takes time for him to build his philosophy and style of play and everything else. It seems to be clicking. What usually takes a couple of turns, for him this time around it's one turn, two turns, and he's getting these guys moving. So ultimately I think they're in competition, but I would say there's three things that really stick out to me. One is Dybala's health. Can he play for a full season? Because he's going to be very important if you want to make a Scudetto push. Two is Kone. What do you do? Do you sacrifice and say, hey, we might lose out on money, but we have him till the end of the season?
You can't lose him in January, Pete.
You can't. But they've been talking about
January?
selling. They've been talking about selling
June,
him.
I could see January.
Listen, they've been talking about selling him. So I think Kone is, for me, is
That's
very
shooting
important.
yourself in the foot.
Is very important. And then three is, what are we doing with the striker? Because you can. Napoli won a Scudetto with Lukaku that didn't score a lot of goals, but they need to be able to score at least 10,
Lukaku
15
did
goals.
double
And
digits,
Lukaku also helped with
goals and
assists,
assists.
and he did what he had to do. So you need somebody that could score at least 10, 15 goals to be a Scudetto winner. So either Ferguson starts waking up, even though he's been playing some good games, he needs to score, and Dovbyk also off the bench or whatever the case might be. Either you get rid of him if Gasperini really doesn't like him, but you have to bring someone in. if you want to make a real push to win a Scudetto.
What's your argument against it? Because Pete just gave the reasons
To
why.
be honest with you, Roma is still on the UEFA competition in Europe, and of course the health of Dybala is a big factor. Dybala, when Dybala is not there, it's a total different thing. It's a total different story. I mean, you have a lot of very good players over there, but not people that can take the team to the next level.
Sule has
Dybala
done
is
it
the
when
register.
Dybala's not there.
Sule is not Dybala. Excellent player.
I know, but
I like him a lot. He's faster than Dybala. He's got a lot of very soccer smartness, but it's not Dybala. Dybala, he
Weird.
can take the ball and he can make a decision that he's going to put everybody. He's going to sit everybody down. Dybala, look at that on the punizione. He almost scored the second goal. That shot that Dybala put into the net, if you give it to Leao, 90% of the time it's in tribuna. Dybala.
Nobody here is arguing against Dybala. We're just
Dybala is a laser. Dybala is a laser focus. That guy, if you give them 2 balls, 1 is gonna go in. 2.
I thought he's laser focused.
It's laser focus. Dybala is not Sule. Dybala is not Sule. You can't even compare. I mean, we're talking about night and days.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to add, yeah, P, I think you're right in the extent that how long
I don't
could-
see Roma winning.
How long can Roma ride their luck without a true goal scorer? I think that's what's going to go. You can only not concede for so long, but there's going to be those cases where it's a 0-0 game and you're going to need that goal that comes out of nowhere. And right now, I feel like it's up to that point, and we're already talking about it, and it's not even December yet. So that's definitely a big case if we really think about seeing Roma win more than just being in a top
They're going to
4.
hit the pareggite too. You know what the pareggite means? The tie. Pareggite is pareggio in Italian, means a tie. They're going to hit the snag of the pareggite because it's going to come to the point that Roma, on those close games that they win 1-0, 2-1, it's going to went up to 1-1, 1-1, 2-2, 2-2, or 0-0.
All right.
So the pareggite is going to hit Roma too.
Let's see. To the point that Serie A is so difficult, Milan. We've seen Milan slip up in 2 games so far. The loss against Cremonese and now a draw against Pisa. A game where in the first half you're dominating, you don't kill off the game, you leave Pisa in. And like I said, these days in Serie A, teams, even like Pisa that come up from Serie B, they're so tactically sound. Gilardino's got this team. They don't need a lot of chances to score goals. You almost lost the game 2-1, again, because of the quality that they had. Do you see this as a point earned or 2 points lost?
2 point lost. With teams like this, we're not supposed to even to think about it. You're supposed to just finish them off immediately.
Not even to think about them.
Just finish
Maybe
them
that's the problem.
off.
Not even to think about. Not even to warm up, right?
Nothing. Finish them off. Finish them
it.
off. Come on, man.
That's what they were thinking, that you guys that they could see the last
Oh,
minute.
my
They didn't finish you guys off.
God, man. That's why the killer instinct, that's important. You know,
You guys almost won
Leao
it
is
too.
a killer, but he's not a murderer.
So that
When you're a
Anto, that's
he
between
can kill you, but a murderer is someone that is
Yeah.
vicious.
There's Anto
Yeah, we're
You
gonna have to
gotta
take
be
this off.
vicious.
between jail and federal prison. There's a difference, right?
Federal is bad. A murderer, you have to be
That's what
nasty.
murderers
that
go
word.
to.
You gotta be nasty. And if you kill somebody,
All right.
you kill somebody.
Stop.
You have to be vicious.
He wants some blood.
You
Use
have to
different words.
finish them off while they're still standing.
Oh my God.
Don't wait until the last seconds. We needed to win the game 1, 2, 3.
What was your
And
Two,
not-
three.
What was your opinion on the Milan goal, the second goal that they scored? Was it offside?
What are you talking about it? It was a perfect goal.
Alto, come on.
What offside? Who was
Oh,
offside?
come on.
It was a beautiful goal.
Don't take the
Where?
bait. Don't take the bait from him.
Where what? So there was not 2 players in the
That's
way
the
of the
hook for the bait,
goalkeeper.
Anto. Let's see
Don't
if you
take
can
it.
take
No,
Let's see if you
don't
can
take
take
it.
it.
Listen, I was a fisherman for a long time. So you trying to put
Take
a
the
bait
bait.
on me, it's not gonna work. Okay, I'm not a magician like you that is gonna find the excuse or pull anything out of your sleeve or the hat. We lost 2 points.
Yeah.
To finish up your answer,
yeah.
so we lost 2 points.
Okay. But Milan will still be there. Milan
They almost
will.
won at the end too. How crazy is that, right?
Yeah, it was.
That was it took on 3 players.
But,
and-
yeah, but honestly, it's why I'm enjoying Serie A these days. I'm enjoying Serie A because at least I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's true.
Like
yeah.
I feel like
it's a gamble.
We went through a couple bad years.
Tough seasons.
Went through a couple years where you look. You look on your app and you say, okay, yeah, you know what? Maybe I could skip this game.
Bettors were making a lot of money,
Now,
let's just say.
But genuinely, Pisa Milan is on a Friday. I said, I can make.
You
want to
know something
Pisa's
funny?
Gonna...
I called the producer when we were down 2-1. I said, Eric, can you believe this nonsense? Can you believe this? I was besides myself. I was about to spit blood. And then
Like a
immediately
killer.
after,
Stop.
Immediately after they scored. I said, oh boy. And that was painful. It was real painful. If we would have lost that game, oh my God, I would have just put myself on a plane.
Okay.
Go to Milan and do
Oh.
something.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say something else.
I thought you were gonna protest. You were gonna protest.
Protesting,
Protest,
yes.
okay.
Okay. Anyway, where do we go from here, Peter? Save me. What should we talk about?
Udinese.
Anything.
Fiorentina.
Oh.
We need my father here.
Where's Gaetano?
Yeah, I was about to call you.
He's gonna find another excuse.
That was a crazy one.
Oh, guys, I don't think my dad will see this part in the podcast, but when he's back next week, they had a tournament that didn't go well.
Ooh.
So we're gonna say
What does that mean? It didn't go well.
they got knocked out early.
Wow.
Ooh.
They got knocked out early, which usually they've
That
had,
is painful.
They've been good in recent times. When he comes back, we're gonna say, "Oh, how'd your tournament go?" And we say, "I heard it went just as well as Pioli's season's going with Fiorentina."
Oh, that's a beautiful line.
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
save it.
I'm gonna write it down.
Write it
He
down.
exited at the same time Tudor exited Juventus.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
that's why he didn't come. Maybe he didn't want to show up today. Because
Oh, that's
the
why he's
weekend-
probably delaying his coming back.
Maybe he's here. He just doesn't want to show up.
Oh.
He's waiting for Fiorentina to get a win. By the way, I think the funniest thing was the Fiorentina fans flipping out over Tudor getting sacked. Because they said, how the hell did Juventus fire their coach before we fired our coach? And then they wanted Spalletti. You know, a lot of Fiorentina fans, they wanted. So now they're going to lose their coach.
Oh
they're going to
my
lose the coach that they want.
Oh, boy.
Thank God Fiorentina came back 2-2. And they even almost won it.
They are, yeah.
Dodo at the
Oh
end.
my
Did you see the
God.
reaction from the
last
from the
3
bench?
seconds.
Slowly.
Oh my God.
He was ready to celebrate.
Yeah, he was.
gonna
Yeah.
fall. He's gonna fall.
It was.
But
hilarious.
football is a crazy game because it was 3-0. 3-0, dead in the water.
Even AC Milan
No
was winning at the
doubt,
last
no
seconds. You see
doubt
that
that they would have sacked Pioli if you lose 3-0 to Bologna. Again, Vincenzo Italiano against his former team. The goal gets taken away for offside. Then Fiorentina come back, do 2-2. They nearly did the 3-2. So are we going to find the positive and say at least they showed the fight, at least they got a point? I think it's pretty hard at this point because they still don't have a win. Never happened in the history of Fiorentina when they've been in a Serie A with 20 teams to not have a win after 8 match days. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
I don't know what they did to Dodo after that full-time whistle is the real question. He just had to hit it on target. That was really
Come on.
really bad.
See, Dybala, you think he will have missed something like that?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
That's what he's saying.
I'm agreeing
I
with
know
you.
that you're agreeing
You
with
gotta
me.
hit on
But what do you
target.
do with somebody like that? You wanted to choke him.
Okay.
God.
Stop with these references.
No, I mean in a good way.
You gotta be
In a good way.
You gotta be a murderer.
I love the guy. I can have 30 beers with him right now.
You're an alcoholic. I'm
I
saying.
mean, you gotta put it in, man.
You got to what?
that was crazy.
You got to what?
You gotta put it in.
That was Pioli's job. Pioli's job was on.
Yo, we were talking about panettones. We have a very good friend from Sette Pani, Bilena. She's going to be baking a lot less panettone this year because a lot of people, they're not going to get the taste of panettone.
That was a good one.
That's
was a
one
good
is it's 2
Two
doors,
3 doors.
three doors, and then we have. I'm not sure about Padre Pioli. What
2
up?
doors,
Pioli.
7
How the
breads.
hell is Pioli still the
So
coach?
Bilena, 2 panettone less for now.
Also, there was a weird argument that he had with Dzeko in the post-match interviews where Dzeko said in their game against Rapid Vienna that he wants to play with 2 strikers. That he said, hey, we need to switch it up. I told Pioli, and there was also reports that a few of the big names in the dressing room, the Senatori, they went to Pioli and said, hey, we need to change formation. We need to change something. And Pioli said, nope, we're not doing that. But then when they did change in the game, they came back 2-2. I think Pioli's got to stop being stubborn and stop being in his ways. At this point, everything that you're doing is not working. You don't even play good. I don't even want to hear you say you play well. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to my face. I watch the way you play. Fiorentina are the slowest team I've seen in Serie A. Every team looks like they're in double speed compared to Fiorentina. So don't come and say that you're playing well. You're not.
Pioli's looking at his Milan Scudetto tattoo and he's just crying himself. You see tears going down his cheek.
That
every
went to
time.
his head. He should have just
I would
ended.
get another tattoo on my chest, even a bigger one after this season.
Well, they
Forget
play
it.
Inter Wednesday.
Oh my
That's
God, they play
Oh,
They played at Milano.
A Milano.
He's gonna go for another streak.
That's tough.
It's better for you that they don't sack the coaches.
Of course.
No, they're not
and
gonna
then,
sack him.
and then
You never
there's,
know.
What, 2 more games until the international break. So I think this is going to be a telling time.
And the
for,
international break's gonna be a
Yeah,
big
the,
indicator.
the international break
well,
will
that's
be
the
the one.
opportunity to be able to sack somebody, get somebody in,
Yeah.
have a few.
I think the
days.
longer they wait, the worse it's going to be. Now, the problem is, again, you keep paying this guy here, they signed for 3 years, right? He signed a big, expensive contract
million?
for 3. Oh,
3
that's a
million for
lot
3
of
years.
money.
Yeah, but you know what's more expensive?
That's a lot.
Serie B, going down to Serie B.
They're
That's
actually
more
talking
expensive.
about Serie B. Like they're talking about Serie B.
Tudor's
for
available.
Fiorentina.
How
Tudor's
it's working.
available
Wait, you
for
think
them.
you think that they're?
I don't think they'll go down to Serie B.
You
But
think they
if-
risk it?
They could be.
I mean, listen,
They're
the way that the
risking.
games go, I mean,
Hey,
if
when the
you-
panic's
if-
starting to settle, right, Pete?
no, but the thing is, the same way winning is contagious,
They're
losing and tying and not being able to win gets into a lot of these players' heads. That's why sometimes when you sack a coach, right, the first couple of weeks, there's a new energy, new thing. So you need to have someone that's there that
Big shake-up.
these players are going to follow. Because if already they're telling him, hey, we need to do something else, that's not a good sign.
So you are basically saying you're gonna fire him now. Don't wait.
But get Tudor.
I think
That's
I
it.
think right now
Ballardini's coming.
to sack him right now. I wouldn't have done what Juventus did. I would have waited at least till this week was over, just because you have a game now Wednesday, this midweek, and another game in another day. So you're not gonna solve
Udinese
anything.
and Cremonese.
You're not gonna solve anything. Maybe for you, okay. So maybe Juve, those 2 teams, they say, okay, we can win.
Cremonese is an
Yeah,
easy team.
that's a
not
crazy thing. I actually was looking
Cremonese is an
at-
easy
Oh,
team.
goddamn, Cremonese is gonna be tough.
Beating Lecce, beating AC Milan.
Juventus struggle against teams like that.
They've been
They
giving
tie
hard
every
time
game.
to a lot of money. This Davide Nicola, man,
know.
it's crazy.
Inter,
Huh?
Inter beat them.
Inter, you made it
Well-
look easy, right? Was that the game you made? Oh, Cagliari, you made look easy as well. Cagliari's another team. I was watching their game against Verona.
They're tight.
I knew
score.
that they were going to make it 2-2 because they were down 2-0. When they scored 2-1, this guy Pisacane has done very well with Cagliari. It's also because Verona is, they caused themselves so many issues. They've scored 5 goals, I think, this season. 4 goals or 5 goals. Half of their goals have come from
They're gonna be
came in that
struggling,
game,
man.
in their last game. So, yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
But there's so many comebacks though. It's very enticing to
And they
watch
tie
all
Juventus.
these games.
Yeah, the games
going
are good.
back and forth. It's you'll never know when there's a comeback.
Games are good.
That's what I was saying before. It's going to be a dogfight. There is no team that you can take it for granted. From the top to the bottom. I said, this should be. Does not exist. This should be a easy win before the game. Then you're starting to put the team on the field. I said, oh boy, I wish I never opened my mouth. So, you're starting to see those low, those teams that they park the trucco, Utrucco. They park the truck, like your father said.
The bus.
The banana
Pullman.
Oh, you
we're
weren't
talking
here.
about a
Mike,
60
you weren't
wheelers,
here.
Mike. We're
Pullman.
talking about
He says he
16,
parks the truck, not the
wheelers.
bus.
So we're not tracking the bus anymore. We're parking the trucks. Okay, according to Gaetano.
The Terrace.
All right, so it's not easy.
Have we missed anything? I don't think we missed anything.
Bologna a little bit disappointed to get caught up at Fiorentina. Very disappointed. Italiano, you say, Italiano.
Well, he can't win every
He
game.
fills your
Yeah,
mouth
I
about Italiano.
He can't win it.
Italiano.
Anto loves filling.
give me a
Always
break,
talks about
Mike.
filling mouths.
What?
Anto always talks
Italiano.
about foam. Oh, look, that's the other one.
What?
We didn't finish talking about Lazio. We cut to Inter.
Lazio.
Yeah, we did. But hold on. You look back at his Italiano's time at Fiorentina. Oh, everybody makes fun of him. I love that conversation. Oh, he made 3 finals. He failed. He didn't win any of them. Guess what? You're fighting Serie B right now, and he didn't have a striker. You sold his only striker. Now at least they have, at least Keane was doing it. So you look back at Italiano's time at Fiorentina. He did much better with the quality, with even less quality than they have. So I don't want to hear anybody talking bad about Italiano. He's right up there in Serie A with Bologna.
But a game like that, yesterday you were up to nothing.
Okay, you
You're
did
up
it
to
too with
nothing.
Pisa. You
I
did
mean,
it
you
too.
can't do it.
They
Anto.
went up
What do you
against
expect
Fiorentina
perfect
at
games?
home. A team that hasn't won.
That's I'm trying again to say there is going to be a dogfight. You cannot take anybody for granted anymore. There is no such a thing. Oh, but he won this. He did this in Fiorentina. He did this in that. Doesn't mean anything. A game, you have to
What
be
can you do
game
for me
time
now?
ready. You have to be game time ready, not just with your how many trophies you won in the past and how many goals you score. You gotta spit your blood, like Conte said, right there. You walk inside of the field, you gotta spit blood for the shirt. and for the team, and for the people that supporting you, for the people that they play the tickets, because it's all about us. We are here suffering. I bet you some of the players, win or lose, as soon as the camera they get off, party time. We're not like that. We're not like that. My whole week, if AC Milan loses or does very poorly, I am pissed.
We know.
Pissed.
We know.
So
You haven't
You
been
seem
mad.
pretty happy.
Yeah, this year's
no,
going
well, for the sake of argument, guys, I'm talking about AC Milan right now. I need to be happy. I need to win. So just make me happy. It takes very little. Just go with the. Don't make me say the word because they're gonna laugh at me because they're gonna think that
don't
I
say
am
that.
some sort of a
You only said it 15 times
criminal.
already before.
So just win. It's very simple. Win. We had a sponsor once on the jerseys that says win, right, Pete? Remember that?
B win.
B win. B win. A win. C win. Win.
B-win.
W-I-N.
Very good. Proud of you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ragazzi.